Good evening and welcome to our Facebook Live this evening. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm based in Brackley, and that is in Northamptonshire in the centre of the UK. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're joining live, then don't hesitate to say hi so that I know you're watching. If you're watching on catch up, whether it's on Facebook on my replay or whether it's on YouTube, then if you have any queries or questions, oh, good morning to you, Kerry, then please just shout and let me know. And hi to Kate and Katie. So this evening I thought I'd focus on this suite called Tidings of Christmas, and this is actually in our annual catalogue, and normally I focus on the products that are in our July to December catalogue, but today I thought I would use this suite. It does consist of stamps, dies and papers. But today, as a starter, I'm just going to be using the stamps themselves. Hi Kate, hi Linda, and Katie, hi. So I'm just going to be using this set. Now our January to December catalogue, as it's the 1st of December tomorrow, we will have a list of the retiring items from the catalogue. So I will be sharing those with you. And that means that once those items have retired, they're no longer available to order. So if there is anything in the July to December catalogue that you fancy and you haven't yet purchased, then don't hesitate to get an order in fairly quickly. I do have my buy one get one free sale in person on Saturday. So you can take advantage of the fact that I'm selling off my own previous retiring stock, and you can basically purchase those items and then choose the same value of items from either this catalogue or from the Christmas catalogue absolutely free. Now if you haven't received details of that, just let me know and I can explain how it works and send you the details for it. So let us have a quick look at this suite. It's called Tidings of Christmas, as you can see, and I appreciate you can't see all the detail here on the left hand side, but if you have an annual catalogue to hand, it's pages 88 and 89. We're going to be focusing on the stamp set here, which I'll show you in a second, and there's also dies and papers, and I love the colour combination here, which is cherry cobbler, Sahara sand, soft succulent, evening evergreen, and a little bit of misty moonlight. Let me show you the papers. The stamp set itself is really good value at £17. And it's one that you could use over and over again, and it has these useful leaves, has an infill for the leaves and some nice sentiments, obviously based around Christmas, but there is a cheers from our home to yours that could be used for New Year or any time of year. Let me show you briefly the papers and then we'll get on with some crafting. I also want to show you the dies briefly. So the papers come in a stack which is 6 inches by 6 inches, and you get 48 sheets in total, and there are 6 designs, so you get 8 sheets of each one. So let me just show you these, and I will be using these later in the week. So we have this one with the white background with a little bit of holly and foliage. We have this one, which might be my favourite, with the evening evergreen background with the foliage and the Misty Moonlight leaves. We have this one, which is cherry cobbler, in colour, but it has this foliage. Now this could be really for any time of year, not just for Christmas. We have this one here, again with holly and foliage with a white background but slightly bigger print. We have some red, white and Sahara sand stripes, and then this Sahara sand piece, again it's not necessarily Christmassy. If I show you the reverse of these, we have this one here on a white background, which again is just foliage. We have crumb cake with stars, and now they're only white and they're very small, so I appreciate you can't see those. We have this evening evergreen tiled effect. Beautiful stripes, great for men's cards. A soft succulent piece. No, this does have pieces of holly, small bits of holly on. And then we have these fab Christmas trees, which might be my second favourite. I don't know, I like all of these pieces, I have to say. Okay, let me show you the dies briefly and then we'll get cracking with some crafting. Let me take them out of the packet because otherwise they will reflect even more so. So we have this die that cuts out the two stockings. It's the same stocking, one is with more of an infill and one is not solid, so you can colour that in. So we have a die that will cut those out. We then have a die that will cut this star. We'll have a die for the ribbon, and then dies for these two flowers. And then we also have these extra dies. So we have a large star. Oh, well done, Kerry. Hi, Jeanette. Hi, Joe. I've hardly used it. I used the papers for our last class. So I'm a bit late to the party with this one, but because it's in the annual catalogue, it's perfect for using now, just in case everything else goes out of stock. So we have this lovely detailed star and an outlined star that you can use. We have a detailed star that matches the one for the stamp set. And then we have some detailed leaves. We have some holly leaves and some holly berries. There's 6 tiny little berries. I'm not even sure that you can see those. Maybe you can. So a really nice, useful set. And the stars you can use any time of year. Great for men's cards if you haven't got or boys cards, girls cards, children's cards. If you haven't got our star framelets dies, then these would be a good alternative. Okay, let me pop those away, and we're just going to do some stamping this evening. So thank you for joining me. Sorry I wasn't here yesterday, that was Monday morning, and I'm afraid I'm not going to be here tomorrow morning. But I've just got to go into hospital for a brief procedure, so I'm hoping that I may feel up to doing a live in the evening instead. Okay, so watch this space in the Facebook group, and if I am going live, I will post that information. Okay, hi Tracy. So I'm just going to stamp out the 2 stockings to start with, so you can see the difference between the two, and you can mix and match these. One, as I say, requires colouring in, or you can leave it plain, and the other one has got a solid backing. So I've just got a spare piece of basic white thin card here, perfect for stamping on. I'm actually using real red rather than cherry cobbler, because I know my cherry cobbler needs a little bit of TLC. Oh, thank you, Jeanette, that's very sweet. Oh, hi Barbara, thanks for joining us. So I'm just going to ink this one up, and this is the first time that I've actually stamped these. As you can see, they're beautifully clean. They won't be for long. So because they're photopolymer, I am just going to grab a mat to put underneath my basic white card. So I hope everybody is keeping well and having a good week. I can't believe it's the 1st of December tomorrow. Where on earth did November go? Okay, so this is the one with the outline detail, as you can see. So a beautifully crisp image, and you could choose whether to colour in any elements of this or not. I have seen a few people who have stamped this and added white embossing powder and then gone over with a watercolour, which is very effective. So you might see that later this week. We'll see how we do. It's amazing how missing even just one Facebook Live makes you feel sort of out of the loop. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. I think I might need to re-ink this a little bit more. There we go, not too bad. Could do with a little bit more ink. But this one here has got these beautiful leaves on there. But it's the same shape, and both of those can be cut out with the die. Just going to clean that off and re-ink it. Oops, got a little bit carried away there. Just want to see how that's inking up now I've used it a little bit. Hi Dee, and hi Linda. Lovely to see you on Sunday, Linda. Okay, so this is the that's the same one there, the same stocking. So they stamp out really nicely. You could use Stamparatus if you wanted a whole line of them, but I think it would be really easy, just for example, to you could have sort of like your own little string here, sort of join them up if you wanted to. Or you could have some ribbon, or you could have a fireplace from one of our sets, all sorts of variations that you could do with those. What I want to also stamp is the star, and this is one I'm going to use for our cards today. So just inking that up. And as I say, you could use this star for any occasion because it's not necessarily Christmassy. So there's the star. And you could, with this, if you wanted to, add in the detail. So if I'd stamped that, for example, in Evening Evergreen, I could just add a little bit of detail. Let me just try that because I want to see what it looks like. Sorry if I'm experimenting slightly. So I just want to stamp that in Evening Evergreen. It's that really nice deep green that you can see there. And then if I grab, for example, Soft Succulents Blends pens, let's just cover this up quickly. I also like the sentiments that come in here. It's the most wonderful time of the year. May your days be merry and bright. Wishing you a joyful Christmas and a happy new year. Noel. Cheers from our home to yours. I think that's a great one. Would make a good New Year's Eve or New Year's Day card. And then a small season's greetings and a to from. And you also get these little stars, again, useful for non-Christmas. So I'm just going to try a little bit of colouring in these just to see what it looks like. So this is light, oh, it's soft seafoam, sorry, not soft succulent. Just want to see what a different look it makes. and I've got my phone just to the side of me so it can see your comments, and as it moved I thought it was a spider just walking to the right hand side of my hand. But it was your comments coming up. Whew. So that's done all of those little leaves. So it's quite effective. You could colour in this top as well if you wanted to. You can make it sparkle by adding glitter. Lots of things you could do with that. Okay, so that's, yeah, that's really pretty. I like that. Okay, so let's make a card. So what I'm going to do for one card is I'm going to stamp the stars all the way over in these two colours, I think, and then I'm going to mount that onto one of the layers of paper. But what I'm going to do is start with a sentiment. So I think "May your days be merry and bright" would work perfectly for that. So "May your days be merry and bright," let's stamp that first, and then I'm just going to stamp the stars around it. So what I want to do is decide on my placement and my colour. So I am just going to bring this piece out, and I think I'm going to do my sentiment in Evening Evergreen because I know this is my better ink pad. And by better it means less used. Yeah, that would be perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to choose where to put that, so I can put this up high and have my stars going round, put it to the left. I could have it this way in the centre. I could also stamp and punch this out. So there's lots of variations of this card that you could do, and all you need is a sentiment and a star. So I'm going to pop that one there. "May your days be merry and bright." Looks fairly central. And then I'm going to ink up my star, and then I'm going to alternate green and red. So it's going to take me a little bit longer. What I might be able to do is position them around the card, so I'm not cleaning between every single one. And I'm not worrying that this is going off the page onto my mat. I shall wipe that down afterwards. So I think what I'm going to do is clean in between each one. Because it's a lot easier to go around in rotation than put all of one colour down and then try and find enough space for the other ones. If that makes sense. So I'm just going to pop this one here, like so. Clean this off. Oh, I could have left it. Dear dear. So I'm just going to alternate my colours. Hopefully you can still see that okay. Like so. And if I've got any small gaps, I have got the tiny little stamp in the set that I can use to fill in a gap. So now I'm going to go Evening Evergreen, like so. And you definitely want to work sort of one way to the other, and build up equal triangles. Obviously these aren't necessarily equal because of this sentiment, but you want roughly the same distance between each one, and that will give you a much more random look. Now I'm going to put red on this one here. I think I actually purchased this set quite late. I know I've got 2 red ones there. Hey ho. But because it's from the annual catalogue, I knew it would be available through December. As I say, our retiring list is produced tomorrow. So if there is something out of the July to December catalogue that you really do want, then don't leave it too long. Some of the items will be discounted and you'll be able to see that, and the best thing to do is go online and look that way, because you'll see anything that is out of stock, the system will tell you. Or if you're looking for it and can't find it, that means it's gone out of stock. There we go. Might have a green one in there. You could also use 3 colours here if you wanted to, just to sort of change it up a little bit. And in fact, I think the Misty Moonlight ink would look lovely. So I've got a lot more green going on than red. So let's make this one a red star. Okay, so that is, apart from the fact I was changing colours, that's a really easy card to make. Now I could add a few dots in there. I could add these little stars either in the crumb cake or in one of these colours, but I think what I'm going to do is mount this onto a layer and then onto a card. So I might use Evening Evergreen and Real Red, but I think what I might do is use one of these layers behind. So let's see. So I think that's going to be too much. This one would definitely work. Sort of picks out the same detail as the stars. This one would definitely work. Might be better. Or I've got red stripes. What do you reckon? Red stripes or the Evening Evergreen? I think for me it's the green, it's the plainer of the two, and then I can pop that either onto a red card or onto a white card. I think I'm going to pop it onto a red card if I can find one to hand without tripping over the dog. Away, darling. This is actually cherry cobbler. I'm just about to run out of red, but I think that would definitely work, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's mount that up. So I'm just going to cut these to size, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of red bling with those tiny red gems. So this is going to be my card. So I'm going to cut this to 14.85. If you prefer, you could cut that to 14.9. And I'm going to score that at 10.5. And then I'm going to cut this layer to 10 centimetres. So I've got a little border. Keep this piece and then cut this at 14.35. So just going to fold that now. It's got something on it there. Don't know what that is, but that's going to be completely covered up. So I've got that layer, like so, which I'm happy with. I could make that a white card underneath, but I'm happy with that as it is. So let's move that mat out of the way, add some glue to the reverse. You can see these bits have got transferred from the mat. That's why I didn't want to put it face down. Like so. And I'm going to pop that onto my red layer. That would also work, wouldn't it? But the papers are just so nice. That's one of the reasons why I use them for our November card class. There we go. And then I should have a piece of white here that I'll use for my inside. And let's put wishing you a joyful Christmas and a happy new year, and the star on the inside. This is quite small, but it's perfect for the inside of a card. Gives you more room to write. Just turn that over. So I'm going to use green for the sentiment. So I want the darker green for the smaller typeface. Let's pop it on our card. Perfect. There we are. Wishing you a joyful Christmas and a happy new year. And then I think I'm going to put 2 stars on. Actually, I might put them one here and one here. Oop, put my finger in it nearly. Or shall I put them in each corner? I'm going to put one in each corner. There we go. Okay. Make sure my fingers are clean, and let's pop that on the inside. Cover up that ink pad, and then all I'm going to do is add a little bit of bling with our red gems, little rhinestones, and that will be a nice simple card. And if I was creating a lot of these, then I might stick to one colour for the stars, so that you're not doing, you just make your life a little bit easier, but it's entirely up to you. Let me find my box of bling and do that. Somewhere in here, there we go, we have these lovely red rhinestones. Here's my take your pick tool to pick them up, and I'm just going to dot a few of them around there. Take my glasses off so I can see what I'm doing. Oops. It is 1, 2, 3. I think I'll do 5 altogether. 4 and 5. There we go. So that's all I'm going to do for this evening, and I'll work on the stocking for tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining me. Really simple card using the Tidings and Trimmings stamp set. I've just literally used a sentiment and the star, but I think it's a really effective, easy Christmas card that anybody could do. If you're mass producing them, stick to one colour. I might do one with the stars in Misty Moonlight and see what they look like. So thank you for joining me. I won't be back in the morning tomorrow on Wednesday. Oh, thank you, Kerry. But I hope to be back in the evening. I will pop a post on my Facebook page just to keep you up to date. And if not, I'll definitely see you on Thursday evening at 7. So thank you so much for joining me. Hope you like our simple Christmas card. Don't forget, our last chance product list starts tomorrow, so watch out for that information in an email and on my Facebook page. And if you are local, you're welcome to join my buy one get one free retiring sale for my old retired stock on Saturday at Evenley Village Hall, which is NN13 if you're local. Thank you so much, Jeanette, Kerry, Linda, Dee, Barbara, Tracy, Joe, Trudy, Katie, Kate, Linda, and anyone else who is watching and hasn't said hi. And also thank you to those that are watching on catch up or replay, whether it's on Facebook or my YouTube channel. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care now. I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Bye for now.